Let me take you back to the beginning of last winter. It was one of those chilly days that made you want to bundle up in a cozy coat, sip on hot cocoa, and watch the snowflakes fall gently outside your window. I was in the middle of clearing out my closet, trying to declutter and make space for the new season. I had a mix of things to get rid of. Some items were being sold, while others were just given away to people who might need them more than I did. Among the items I decided to give away was a medium-sized TNA jacket. For those who aren't familiar, TNA is a mid-range brand, and this particular jacket had been quite the investment when I first bought it, costing me almost $300. Despite a bit of wear here and there, it was still in great condition. It was clean, still warm, and had no rips or tears. The jacket even had that faux fur trim on the hood, which I thought added a nice touch of style. At the same time, I was also selling another jacket on an online marketplace. This one was a Mackage jacket, and it was almost new. Mackage is a much higher-end brand, and this jacket was an absolute gem. It was a size XX small, perfect for someone petite. It had real fur on the hood, and the quality of the material was top-notch. This jacket had originally cost me close to $900, and I was trying to sell it for $400. A fair price, considering its excellent condition. Now here's where things get interesting. A lady reached out to me through a local Buy Nothing group, which is a platform where people give away items for free to those in need. She was interested in the free TNA jacket. She explained that her daughter was in desperate need of a good, warm winter coat, and she thought this jacket might be perfect. Naturally, she had some questions, which I was happy to answer. I made sure to tell her about the wear spots, and she seemed to be fine with that. She also mentioned that the size medium would be a perfect fit for her daughter. To be extra sure that there was no confusion, I sent her additional pictures of the TNA jacket and reiterated that this was the jacket she would be picking up for free. After all, I didn't want any mix-ups, and I had a bit of a funny feeling about the whole situation. Even though she had commented on the post where I clearly mentioned it was a TNA jacket, something made me double-check. Better safe than sorry, right? We eventually set a time and place to meet for the jacket handover. Everything seemed to be going smoothly up to this point. I was just glad to be helping someone out, especially with winter approaching. The lady arrived at the meeting spot right on time, but the moment she laid eyes on the jacket, I could see her expression change. She looked visibly disappointed, her face scrunching up slightly as she inspected the coat. Naturally, I asked if something was wrong. After all, I wanted to make sure that the jacket was what she needed and that she was satisfied with it. That's when she started to explain, in a somewhat dramatic fashion, that this wasn't the jacket she thought it was. She went on about how her daughter had her heart set on a coat with fur on the hood, a jacket with real fur, not the faux fur trim that this one had. She also mentioned that her daughter really wanted a fitted style, which, by the way, this jacket was. And then she dropped the bombshell. It was her daughter's dream to have one of those shiny jackets with real fur, and she somehow thought that this was the jacket I was offering. At this point, I was puzzled. I had gone out of my way to make sure there was no confusion about the jacket she was supposed to pick up. I even asked her directly if she was referring to the Mackage jacket, the one that was almost new and was originally priced at $900. She lit up immediately and said, "Oh my God, yes! She needs it to fit in at school." She then proceeded to tell me to go get that one instead. I stood there, a bit stunned, before I calmly told her that this was not possible. What followed was an argument where she insisted that I had promised her the Mackage jacket. She claimed that it was the jacket her daughter needed and that I had somehow told her she would be getting it. Of course, this was entirely false. I had never said any such thing. I tried to remind her of our conversation and the pictures I had sent, but she wasn't having any of it. As the argument escalated, she became increasingly upset, talking about how her daughter deserved the best and how she shouldn't be stuck with someone's worn-out, crusty hand-me-downs. Her words, not mine. She was referring to the perfectly good TNA jacket that she had initially agreed to pick up. She even mentioned that her daughter deserved nice things, even though she was a single mom, as if that justified trying to guilt me into giving her an almost brand new $900 jacket for free. In an attempt to bring some logic back into the conversation, I pointed out that if a medium was perfect for her daughter, an XX small wouldn't fit her at all. This seemed to momentarily stump her, as she had no response to that. But it didn't stop her from continuing to push for the more expensive jacket. At this point, I was done with the whole situation. I politely but firmly told her that I was sticking to the original agreement and that if she didn't want the TNA jacket, that was fine, but I wasn't going to give her the Mackage one. She seemed to realize that she wasn't going to win this argument, and after a few more grumbles, she left empty-handed. I ended up walking away with the TNA jacket still in hand, feeling a bit frustrated, but also relieved that I didn't cave into her unreasonable demands. Later that day, I ended up giving the jacket to someone else who actually appreciated it. This person was genuinely grateful, and it felt good to know that the jacket was going to someone who really needed it. Looking back, the whole situation was a lesson in setting boundaries and not letting people take advantage of your kindness. It's one thing to help someone out, but it's another thing entirely when they try to manipulate you into giving more than you're willing to offer. The experience reminded me that while generosity is important, it's equally important to stand firm when someone tries to take advantage of that generosity. In the end, the TNA jacket found a new home with someone who truly appreciated it, and I learned a valuable lesson about the importance of clear communication and standing my ground.